Icon Township regular monthly meeting, June 16th.
Good. Good one? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll call this meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given to the Express Times and Star Gazette, satisfying the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act. If we could please stand for a silent prayer and flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Do I have a motion to pay the bills presented in proper form, signed by the director of each department and approved by the members listed on the bill list?
So moved.
I have a question.
Yes.
Liquid Web, that's a renewal of the web service. Are we doing anything different on that? I mean, I think, Lorraine, you had somebody that was interested in coming in and trying to sell something different?
That's to keep the name though. I don't think it's the actual hosting. I think that's the name, like to own the name, the rights of it. I believe so.
Okay, I mean, I don't mind paying the bill, especially since they'll cut it off before we get somebody else, but I just want to make sure we're pursuing something else if we're not able to solve the problem through them.
Yeah, that's fine, but I wouldn't hold that up, because if it does get canceled, then they'll shut down everything.
Okay, but you don't have any problem with getting somebody else in here trying to sell it, or are we pursuing anything else?
Potentially not with that vendor that was suggested,
Okay.
because I know there was one that was specifically mentioned in an email, but it might not be with that person.
Okay.
There is someone else, yes.
Tell me if we need to do, if Lorraine and I or the clerk's office or anybody needs to do anything to get a different email.
Yeah, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a domain name renewal. That generally has to be renewed every 3 years. You got to pay for that.
I think that's what it is. I think for like, it was 100 something, 100.
$49.
Yeah, that's,
1 year renewal.
One was a domain name and one was a renewal of the web service, because we had to expand the amount of emails we could have, because they actually shut us down before we could get any.
We'll probably have to pay the bill regardless, but I'm just raising that point. I'll second it.
okay.
Becker?
Yes.
Yes.
She's not here.
Angeli?
Yes.
Yes.
And Kern?
Yes. Okay, public comment pertaining to agenda items. Are there any public comment pertaining to agenda items? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the attorney's report.
Quickly tonight, Mayor, I did finally get on, I guess, Friday or Monday, a summary from Jay Parentoni with respect to the PCI settlement, which we settled the case back in April. I've been waiting 2 months to get those documents, so I did
Would
get
you
them.
please put the microphone by you, because people can't hear you.
The TCI settlement, draft settlement agreement, I should be able to circulate by the end of the week. I just got the documentation from Jay Parentoni on Friday or Monday. The municipal court shared services agreement, I don't know if that's going to be for an executive session.
Yes.
But there has been an agreement from Greenwich on the form, and an agreement in part on a modified number so I guess we need to talk about that briefly in executive session. The railroad, I can give you guys an update on that application to the county ag board. The Snyder Farm got approved as a commercial farm, and that's not a surprise to anybody. This Thursday evening is the scheduled first hearing on their application for agriculturally related activities at the farm site. After the last meeting, at your direction, I directed a letter to their attorney, Julie Hirsch, just expressing some of the concerns that have been raised by residents and the council with respect primarily to the mining, amusement, I guess, for lack of a better word, and a dinosaur dig, and the concern that those were not really sufficiently agriculturally related, to fall within the county ag board's jurisdiction, and that probably ought to be something that should be site planned by our own land use board. And I had also had some understanding, I referenced it in that letter, that I guess some of there are structures out there that there's been no building permits issued for, as I understand it. I had sent that letter just to her attorney. I guess when it got here, it was forwarded to the county ag board, so that elicited 2 phone calls to me. One from Corey Tierney, who is their kind of in-house attorney, and the second, just yesterday, from Mike Lavery, who's the outside counsel for the ag board. And as I indicated in my memo, I think Mike Lavery's issue is essentially, number one, the commercial farm application only dealt with the Snyder property itself as he understands it. So the piece of the quarry property that's leased, and which the mining part of it and the dinosaur dig, I guess, are actually on the quarry property. That he doesn't believe that was part of the commercial farm certification application. So he's under the preliminary view that they would have to go back and amend that before they could have a substantive hearing on what they're doing out there. However, if they do get to the substantive hearing on Thursday evening, I think it would appear that it's his inclination as well that not the corn mazes and things like that, but specifically the amusement attraction with the exploding tin roof or what have you that simulates a mine explosion, and the dinosaur dig, that I don't think he felt that was something that fell within the definition of an agriculture-related activity. It's his view that the board is likely not to take jurisdiction of those things. Whether they'll take jurisdiction over the rest of it, the corn maze and things like that have been kind of going on down there for a while, which I think are relatively non-controversial, is another matter. But that's kind of where that stands. So they're certainly aware of the township's concerns because they got my letter. If you want, I can further amplify that in a direct letter to them. I also, finally, on the same matter, I just received a letter today from the Julie Hirsch, the applicant's attorney, which indicated that the railroad would provide insurance certificates as far as ensuring any liability with respect to people crossing the public road, and that they were willing to work with us if we wanted to in terms of a crosswalk or putting something pedestrian related down there at that site. So that's where it stands. I did get, I think, at least 1 or 2 emails from residents down there, again, expressing concerns that kind of tied in with what we had talked about. So the meeting as it stands is on for the 18th, which is this Thursday evening, but it either could be very short in terms of if they decide jurisdictionally that they have to amend the application for commercial farm certification because it didn't include the quarry property, and that certification is a prerequisite to the board undertaking any jurisdiction. And so it might just stop right there. If they do get to the substance of it, it sounds like the board is somewhat skeptical of that some of these things are going to be within their jurisdiction, and I think the end result is probably going to be a declination of jurisdiction, whether it's tonight or later down the road, which is going to end up putting the matter back in front of the land use board. And if there are structures down there that permits haven't been issued for, I think that probably is something that, and that was Corey Tierney's comment. Corey Tierney called me specifically to indicate, hey, Kevin, I don't know, what we're going to end up doing with this application, but one thing is for sure, regardless of whether it's agriculture related or not, it has no impact on the need for building permits for structures. So that's something we could perhaps refer to Wayne Deegan and see, if there are structures down there, which I understand there's at least one with a roof that is on springs that simulates an explosion of a mine. So I'm assuming there's some electricity and building structure down there. If permits weren't issued for that, I think that's a health and safety issue that we probably ought to address, regardless of what happens at the Ag Board. So that's kind of where that is. I know it's it's an important issue, so that's where we are. I don't know if anybody has any questions or comments or concerns on that.
For example, tonight we have to approve special event application for Alba.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't with that hold harmless agreement with the liability, couldn't we then, down the road, with any approvals that are given, couldn't we just set it up where a special event permit's issued in a situation like that to have, because that's what the police chief had talked about with the crossing. With the
in
police.
terms of the railroad and all the activities?
Yeah, with the police, well, for the crossing aspect.
Problem with the special event activities, it's really designed for an isolated single event, this is going to be
Not
going on
multiple.
every weekend, all summer and fall, as I understand it. I mean, so I think at the end of the day, to be honest with you, if the county ag board does not take jurisdiction, then I think it's going to become a site plan issue, because you basically have, the Snyder Farm is probably zoned, I think that's rural agricultural zone or something like that down there. Quarry has its own specific zoning. It's a quarry zone for just the quarry. Neither zone would seem to me to permit, as a permitted use, the type of activities that are going down there. I mean, other than the agriculture, like the maize and things like that, but I'm thinking specifically of the mining, amusement. And I keep saying amusement because in their application to the board, they actually have a guy working for them whose background is 40 years as an amusement park ride creator. So he was the guy who came up with this concept. So I think ultimately at the end of the day, Mayor, what somebody's going to have to come in with a site plan for this, more than likely. And if it's if the board declines jurisdiction, it becomes the land use board's site plan. It's going to be, I think, also combined with use variance relief. And that's not the worst thing in the world for the applicant or anybody else, but it will at least give everybody public notice, the right to be heard. You can site plan the crosswalk, you can site plan the hours of operation, those types of things. So I think that's probably where it's going to end up going. With that. Well, that's my whole point. They would have to come in and propose that. The board would have to decide that.
It's our road and we don't want to sit before we did not.
Exactly. So I think at the end of the day, it's going to become a township issue once again, because I don't think the ag board ultimately is going to want to deal with it. I just don't. Mike Lavery's comment was, well, what do we know about amusement parks? And the other thing both of us kind of raised, to be honest with you, is there actually is a whole statutory provision that's related to amusement park rides per se. When you go to the Warren County Fair, you see those little licenses on all those rides. They do have inspectors. I don't know. I mean, something like this could be something even that falls within that body's jurisdiction. I think that's under Department of Law and Public Safety somewhere. But in any event, that's where it's at. I don't think the board is going to decide that this is agriculturally related enough that they take jurisdiction. That's my sense. I could be proven wrong, but that's kind of the sense I get from speaking.
Now, what if they took it and then they could conceivably approve everything except the areas that they don't feel comfortable with their jurisdiction?
Well, I suggested that to Mike. I said, well, Mike, if the Snyder Farm portion has been commercial farm certified, that's the part, as I understand it, that has things that are agriculture related, the corn maze and the pumpkin sales. I said, as I said, that part of the thing has been going on for a while, and other than the crossing issue, which I think we will still need to raise one way or the other anyway. But I said that's certainly agriculture related, and I don't think, and it's not noisy, it's not a structure that or anything like that. So I could see them taking a middle road in there and maybe just adjudicating that piece of it, saying, hey, you only applied for the farm, so we're only going to deal with the activities on the farm. If that's the case, the mining aspect of it and the dinosaur dig aspect and things are still going to end up back in our lap.
If we said before we did not want a crosswalk, why do we have to revisit it all over again? I mean, how many times do we have to do things?
Well, I don't think.
Suggesting you do. I'm just saying this. I'm reading to you a letter where they offered it again.
But I don't.
Offered some extra things.
I don't think the township has ever said they don't want a crosswalk. I think it's never. In that respect, yes, you didn't want it done that way, but I don't think there has ever been an application seeking to do that. So the township never said yes or no to a crosswalk. I think that's the...
Right, I think the problem was initially, Mary, is they did it unilaterally. We didn't even know about it. They went out there and painted our roads. And we said, wait a minute, that's completely inappropriate.
All right, let's not spend any more time on it. When the issue comes up, I'll speak.
Okay, that sounds good. That was... And we do have I did do a draft of a complaint. I just want to review with you guys quickly in the executive before I file it. It's ready to go. And I did do 2 draft ordinances. I apologize I didn't get them to you sooner. If you don't want to deal with them tonight, we can certainly put them on for next month. But follow up to Mary's concern about the solicitation, I did find some sample ordinances of league of municipalities. And I drafted an amendment, which I thought was an excellent idea.
Now, would somebody who's running for office be considered solicitation?
No, that definitely does not include political
Because I
activity,
didn't
religion.
see anything there, and I just want to make sure those people.
That's already covered in our exemptions, political, religious, nonprofits, our volunteers. Those types of people are already excluded from having to get a peddler's permit. This would just cover basically commercial peddlers. And we would do a do not solicit list. The only thing about the draft ordinance is somebody would have to get out a notice to residents initially saying, hey, if you want to be on the list, here's a form.
Do we, that was
all
where
we
my
need.
question was going to go. Do we have to send out a special separate mailing for it? I don't know how much a mailing costs, like $700 or something?
I think
700.
you would have to send out a separate, that was in that first page about sending out a mailer, so
Well,
that's
if
like,
we-
I know, but I was wondering, are we required to,
No,
or are
not
we,
required to, but
or could we?
If we had it done, could we send it out with the August tax bill?
well, that's what I was thinking, to be honest with you. I don't know whether our tax bills are sent directly by a company. Do we send them ourselves?
I have no clue.
I don't know whether
Those are just property owners
But,
too, right, as opposed to all residents? Would it be all residents?
well, it's property owners that you want to send to anyway, because that's who, it goes by property address.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
So, that's what my thought was to kind of send out the notice. And I actually have a form. If you guys adopt the ordinance, I already have a sample form. It's very simple. And I could get that to Wanda. And then whenever it's easiest for you guys to do it.
It would increase our mailing costs because we're required to mail those mailings every year.
Dog waste.
Another piece of paper in there.
Add to the weight. Over.
I don't know.
How about-
Fit in the envelope? I can't say that for sure, but I know if it's over the weight.
For the tax
To mail
notice?
it with it, tax bills.
The other thing we can consider, again, if you want to do a cost savings, we could post the form on our website and just put a big bold
Make it
notice
available.
that it's available. But I think,
The seniors that.
I was thinking, if you're going to do this, the first time through at least, to do a mailing.
what we could do too is to even have it,
Some in the municipal building.
that's what I was going to say, and if, when residents come in, just mention it too. Now, are you interested?
And also put a notice in the paper.
So that's there. We can do that this month and next month. That's on the first reading. You know, I know you guys haven't had a chance to really digest it.
I just glanced at it. Are we reducing the time of peddlers from a full year to only 3 months?
Oh, that's,
Yes.
you know, I'm glad you pointed that out. That's the other thing I put in draft. To be honest with you, Wanda, when I read our ordinance in the code book, there was no time.
Yeah,
So-
they told me it had to be a whole year.
I didn't, so the samples I've been looking at on the league for the shorter duration of like 3 months, that's up to you guys. You can make it half a year. A pure license, it's not an expensive license. I think it's about $15.
The bond,
The bond is expensive, but if you guys want to keep it at a year, we should amend it and actually put that in the ordinance so that's not ad hoc. If you want to keep it at 3 months, that's fine. And other than that, I just reincorporated the fact that it's not in front of the sunset. And the reason why I picked sunset is because in the summer, if you're soliciting, you know, you have longer hours. Instead of just putting a cutoff time.
It would look good to me. I mean, more restrictive is better from my point of view. Nuisance,
So that's that. In the second ordinance I did, and I promised this to Sal, but again, it's more comprehensive. We can deal with it next month if you want, but there is now a statutory amendment that was adopted in 2014 that allows us to put a fair amount more requirement on mortgage foreclosures and other people who have an interest in vacant properties. And we can require them to register. You know, if they don't register, we can fine them. Once they do register, if they allow the property to become delinquent, we can fine them again. All those fines become liens, and the fines are very substantial. I think, and the registration is substantial. The first year, I think it's $500, then it goes to $1,500, then it's $3,000. So I think it gives you an incentive to get these properties turned over and on the market and gotten rid of. So I think it'll hopefully be a big help to Sal and their zoning office.
Take a look at welding oil at home. That's plywooded up. That looks like that.
Oh, they don't want anything.
So once
Well, let them put windows in.
once that's adopted, or 20 days after it's adopted, I can work with Sal and I can even get some, you know, quick, just on the really bad ones, I can get quick searches if we even need to. Because I don't think foreclosures, Wanda, have you been getting any notices from?
We did not.
Are you? Okay, well, those we can send a copy of, whoever we got notices to, we'll send a copy of the ordinance saying, hey,
Okay.
because they have to designate somebody that we can get a hold of for maintenance. If they don't, again, it's a fine. So I think, you know, nothing is perfect, but I think this will give you a lot more teeth. And once we get it adopted, Sal, I'll help you guys.
We need it.
I'll help you guys try to get some of these properties in order. So those are the two ordinances. The last one I'm still kind of tweaking. There is the one that I know you're interested in, which is the one for the shoplifting, the excessive shoplifting policy. Just trying to tweak that a little bit. You'll have that for next month.
The vacant, before you leave the vacant property thing, I noticed you definitely initially you said A, B, C, D. Are those ors in between all of them?
Yeah.
So
Any of those conditions, correct.
Kevin, real quick, could you just speak to, I know you put it in your report, but on the situation about the class action against the state for COA?
Oh, yeah, well, I should bring that up. As I indicated, the Supreme Court has basically neutered COA as an agency and retaken jurisdiction of affordable housing. So we have a month window, and we're in that window now. It just started June 8th. So before your next meeting, if we only have one meeting next month, I don't know. But in any event, before June 8th, July 8th, excuse me, I'll file a declaratory judgment for the township in conjunction with our planner, asking the court basically for protection from a builder's remedy lawsuit and asking for 5 months to prepare a new plan. What the mayor's referring to is I had emailed you guys. There's a COA expert, if you will. His name is Dr. Burchell. He's from Rutgers. The Council on Affordable Housing actually had him on retainer up until very recently, and he was helping COA draft their numbers. His numbers are dramatically different and lower in most respects, substantially lower for rural municipalities like out here in Blackhawk than the numbers from the public housing advocate, the Fair Share Housing Center.
They were like ridiculous.
Their numbers like way over 200.
Right. I mean, it's ridiculous. We were like 60 something before, right?
Yeah, I'm not even, I think 47.
Originally, and then Minnesota, that was 60 something.
So the number is, so Dr. Burchell was on retainer with COA. He's now been released, and he's available as an expert. There's several attorneys for larger towns who have circulated a municipal shared defense agreement pursuant to which everybody who gets on board can utilize him. He's going to spend, I think the estimated cost is $70,000 to $80,000 to prepare his own telephone-sized book report, giving all the individual numbers, well, the generic numbers statewide, and then breaking those down by municipality. If we jump on board now, the cost is $2,000, and then we'll get a Blackcon specific piece of that report, and then our planner, Susan Rule, we can utilize that hopefully to help pursue a court-approved plan that has a reasonable number. Because if we don't have, otherwise, I think it's a great idea. I think it's very cost-effective because it's going to be an enormous undertaking. The Fair Share Housing Center's report is, again, the size of the New York City telephone book, and it's going to take that type of responding report if you want the court to try to buy into a lower number. So
What distinguishes what this expert's going to do for $2,000 versus what Higher Gruel would do for $12,000?
Well, I talked to Susan about that $12,000 number, and she said she had just kind of sent that to give you guys some backup. She wasn't even committed to a $12,000 number, but there's money out there for Highlands, so she kind of threw that out there so we could ask Highlands, get the process rolling to get grant money. In talking with all the planners, and I don't remember if I talked specifically to Susan about the joining on this joint report, but every planner I know of, every township I work in, as municipal attorney or where I have private developer clients, I'd say probably there's got to be at least 200 municipalities probably that are going to join in this process because, and for any single planner to try to go into the detail necessary to do it just on a municipal basis, you're going to spend a lot more than the 2,000. So I think once Susan has that number, it will allow her to do a specific plan for us that'll be less expensive, way less expensive than otherwise be. I'm sure it'll be less than 12,000 probably for her to take that number and integrate it into a plan because the report that this guy's going to do is going to look at all our vacant land inventory. It's going to go into the fact that what's in the preservation area, what's not, what's been preserved, what hasn't. The Fair Share Housing Center's numbers don't take those types of specifics into account. So that's why a lot of these are rural townships, Franklin Township, where I live, Blairstown, here in Pawhacon. If you look at the Warren County numbers, by and large, except for Alpha, because Alpha has basically no undeveloped land, I think their number is like 0.
Could we apply the Highlands to the 2,000 as opposed to the 12,000? Or do we need both?
I think we can apply generically to everything. I mean, we are participating, so I think all of our expenses, we should initiate that letter for COA, and there is going to, or to the Highlands Council. There will be some money out there, but I do think it would be a good idea to add to the motion calendar a motion to enter into the joint defense agreement. The cost is fixed at $2,000. It is possible, and you might get some money back. I mean, if enough municipalities participate, there might be a surplus. So. And it's not for legal fees or anything. It's just for his report.
Now, I think what Frank's getting at is my question too then. So if we do that, then what, if at all, do we have to attach a monetary number to the Higher Gruel's proposal, or can we just?
No, not at all. I mean, I think Susan isn't looking for a firm commitment to $12,000. She told me that explicitly. She just gave us a letter with a ballpark that she wanted us,
It's an amount not to exceed.
right, and she wanted us to get that down to COA to start getting the grant money hopefully flowing. But we don't have to do anything with Susan. First thing that has to be done is to get this number.
Yeah.
And that's what she would be spending, several $1,000s probably.
So do they have to be done simultaneously, or
No,
can
we can
you?
go with Rochelle first.
Okay, yeah,
Let's
that's
get-
the,
Let's get the number, and then we can see where we're at.
okay.
But I would add that to the motion calendar to enter into a joint, intermunicipal joint defense agreement for Dr. Burchell. I think it's going to be helpful to everybody, including our planner. And it will end up being a cost savings in terms of preparing what we have.
So then our,
Do that first, and
Yeah.
then decide later whether to do the things with higher accrual?
Yeah.
I thought we had to decide now, because from what I'm hearing, all the other towns are preparing their fair share of housing element now. That we can't just file for.
No, nobody's preparing it now. In fact, nobody's even filing a complaint yet. Nobody wants to be first.
Yeah, because then you're the one that's going to get burned.
Nobody wants to be the sacrificial lamb to go first. So I'm not aware of anybody who's actually filed the DJ action. So I'm going to have mine ready to go, but I want to see somebody else that's jumping in first.
Wanda, is
like-
this through the courts?
The housing, when we file the DJ action, that's going to give us 5 months to prepare the housing element.
So that'll give us time when
It's gonna
we
give
do
us
this.
time.
Okay,
So
that's the
we're
key.
not, it's not that we're going to be waiting a year for higher.
So let's replace a motion rather than add a motion.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
But we should do this, and then when we're on board with that, we'll file the DJ action. Once that's filed, I think at that point, what I'm anticipating, guys, is the court will issue either individual or generic scheduling orders. You know, and they'll just have.
These A through C.
Yeah,
will get- yeah.
A through M municipalities, this is your time frame. You know what I mean? And then we can line up, I mean, you're absolutely going to need Susan. This is not in lieu of her, but it will be a big help to her helping the township prepare.
I just think there was confusion because,
It's not 12 plus 2.
no, but the other issue is why would we have two people doing the exact same
won't.
job? So,
No.
yeah, so
you
do,
won't.
jump in on
Right.
this, lost with the other 200
We're gonna
towns.
get the numbers to help Susan do.
Exactly, and then she can go forward and we have time too.
What is this motion called again, to enter a joint defense law?
It's a motion to enter into a joint defense agreement for the retention of Dr. Burchell.
Is he capping how many towns he's going to do or no?
He'll take as many, because he's going to do, the whole thing's going to be statewide anyway, but if you don't participate,
You're not
you're not going to
protected.
get, you may not get township-specific breakdown. Plus, the bigger thing is you won't necessarily be able to use him as an expert witness.
Exactly.
Because he's not your expert.
He's not your expert, yeah.
What about minor Phillips? We put all those roads in up there in Lopat. I
Right.
remember signing the papers. They should take that into consideration.
I think the best thing to do is, if you guys move this motion forward, I can work with you, Sal, our planner, and anybody else who wants to, but we'll get him as much specific detail in our township for his use. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, we already have a COA subcommittee.
Right.
So Sal, if you want to sit on it.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Last time it was like pulling teeth.
So that's what that is. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that, Mayor. Sorry, I meant to talk about that. All right, that's it for me.
Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions for Kevin? Okay.
Okay, you're gonna take care of that and make sure you don't let it slip by.
I won't.
Don't we have to have that right away, Wanda? All this paperwork done? There's a certain date?
I just said, the DJ action has to be filed by July 8th. That's the first date.
Right.
We'll get it filed.
So that.
We'll get it filed.
Yeah.
We're going to start the ball rolling.
Any loss.
Yeah.
No, we have enough lawsuits.
No developers lost.
All right, Gwen.
All right, I got a call from the DPW and went out with Jeff and looked at 3 alleys in Parkside that are in a similar situation as the one section of Middle Street was last year. To be specific, Middle Street from Bliss to Liggett, and the section from Pershing to Shimer, and then there was 1 block of North Street from Shimer to Hunt. They're terribly broken up. They wouldn't last another winter. I did email Kevin about if we would be able to put it out to bid, similar to what we did last year. We did a cooperative effort between the contractor and the DPW. We would purchase the asphalt and the DGA, or what do you call it?
Dirt gravel aggregate.
Dirt gravel aggregate, otherwise known as dense graded aggregate, and the asphalt from the Warren County Co-op, which has already been publicly bid. And then we would have the contractor do the excavation and place and compact the DGA. Then the DPW would pave the road. So Kevin thought that we would be able to do that since the aspect of it, purchasing the.
Okay, I have a question. So to do this, would the monies that would be used for this be taken from some other road project?
I don't know what other road projects you have.
There was nothing in the budget set aside for this. as far
I
as I'm
understand
aware.
that, and that's why I asked.
Right. As far as I'm aware, there was nothing set aside.
What are the roads that are scheduled to be done?
We're still talking about what we want to attack there, roads.
We have to patch those roads up. We're gonna lose everything this winter. Not everything, but a lot.
When,
Well, I worked up some rough costs for you using the bid costs that we had from the contractor last year,
job, right.
and then, increasing it because this is 3 sections of road versus 1. That cost would be about $35,000. And then if you add in our cost for the material, it would take it to around 76. Now, that could go up a little bit because this contract is over $15,444, which means you have to pay prevailing wages, whoever the contractor is, and it would have to go out to public bid.
Can't we split it out to 3 separate jobs and keep the cost down? Each section is a separate job.
They tell you in the bidding law, you have to take it in the aggregate. If you're doing a baseball park, you have to consider the bases, the balls, the bats, the fence, that's what they
These are different streets.
There are different.
These are individual streets,
They're
they're alleys,
individual
they're not
streets.
connected.
Yeah, the North Street is 2 blocks of it, but they're not back to back. Kevin would have to answer that. That's more of a, he'd have to defend it.
But either.
Well,
way,
the two, one is right, and that you have to be careful about breaking apart a project. In this case, they are separate streets, and we certainly have pursued grants and everything else on a street-by-street basis. And if it hasn't been budgeted for, maybe the concept would be for Gwen, maybe we should start with the worst of them, get some, maybe that one will be under bid. I don't know, you think any of them individually would be under bid threshold?
Yeah.
So we could actually even pursue the way we did Wayne Wilbur last
All
year.
3 of them would be under.
Why doesn't Pershing break it up?
Yeah, but the contractor amount last year for the 1 block, now these blocks, I think 1 or 2 of them are a little bit longer, was around a little over 7,000.
So that's why I think Gwen's saying, if you take 3 together, that's 21. Or they could be a little more. Let's say they're 10 apiece. That's 30. You're over the bid threshold. We could start with 1, see how the numbers come back, and then we could either bid out the last 2 collectively or continue on a road-by-road project. That's what I would suggest.
We don't have to figure our costs.
Is there any?
Project as
Well-
far as what the bid is, correct?
No, I didn't.
Just,
why it's-
right.
Yeah,
That's
the
the
only-
just the material cost from the
Plus,
Warren County.
plus my other thought, Gwen, and I guess none of our road guys are here. Are any of our road guys here? But my question would be is, would they even have time to address all 3 simultaneously, and when they're doing other projects too? Maybe it is better anyway from a organization.
What did you guys do before when you did the alley up there? You did most of the trucking is all, or did you? But basically, all it was our trucks and a little bit of labor, right?
And paving.
And the paving part. Paving goes fairly quick though, right?
Is there any economies, Gwen? Are they close to that? Would be any economies to just knocking them all out at the same time?
Probably just a mobilization aspect of it.
Not that big of a deal.
They would not be, they would just be supplying labor and trucks, so they wouldn't be supplying material, so you wouldn't get like a reduced rate for your, material.
I mean, the
I
only
could,
thing.
I could support you guys doing it on a street-by-street basis.
Well, the
I
two
think-
I know are closer.
That's how we
than
have
the
to
other.
decide whether, right?
Right.
Well,
That
two
was
of them
kind of
are
my
on
thing.
Middle Street, and then
What's the name of the other? I don't know.
North.
North, okay.
between, so the one abuts Shimer.
Shimer
And then
Boulevard.
the other one also abuts Shimer.
Right.
North is the worst one though, right? Is that the one that's, well, it depends what you
They were all
define
bad.
as.
I would have to take another look at them and see, but they're in pretty bad shape.
But the same remedy we used on Middle Street would address these the same way.
Yeah, that's our idea.
And the reason,
We have engineering costs, or we could basically use the same engineering design as we used before, and we could minimize.
Yeah, we would use the same cross-section,
Right.
and if we do it this way without having to go out to public bid, that's reduced. We just, I think what I did last time was we took 3 local contractors and I just mailed them the specs and
Right.
asked for them to deliver
Right.
bids.
I think you guys maybe should pick a street and let's start with one if they're bad. I mean, it sounds like they have to be addressed.
I
So.
would be in favor of that. Pick the worst one, start there, and then see what happens.
When's our next meeting, Wanda?
I think there's one block that might be the people's only street frontage.
Right, that was the guy last year, I remember. He
Yeah, so
Couldn't
that
get to
might
his-
be the one I-
That might be the priority one that we want to start with. You want to coordinate that with the DPW and
Yeah, just would just be authorizing Glenn to get quotes for whatever street that is and go from there.
I guess we have to talk to you to see where the money's at though, correct? Right, but that wasn't a project that was figured into that capital paving budget.
No, so that will come off the top of whatever you had planned on doing with that money.
All right, well, we'll figure it out.
That's what I'm thinking. It's better to do it street by street, see what the contractor prices come in at. I don't know if is asphalt up, down, or sideways this year, Glenn?
Their price is around $60 a ton. It's already been bid by the county.
Oh, okay, so we already got our,
We're on a,
Yeah, that's what I mean, that the stone and the asphalt, we have those prices.
the only variable would be the labor, the higher labor.
If we do them sequentially, would we have enough time to? If we do them sequentially, would we have enough time to do them all in the paving season?
You can pay them for really, they pay through November.
Okay, good.
Just gonna say, as long as the asphalt plants are open.
Okay, good.
let's go. Yeah.
Okay,
Well, you see
cool.
a lot of paving, but it usually closes at the end of the year, so everybody's paving in December. but- But they're aware, and that's not the best idea.
Right.
And then the only other item was the arch. And I did meet with Wayne out there just last week, and he has not given me a price, but I also had a thought this afternoon, and I contacted a company called Master Locators, and we've used them to locate underground utilities. They use ground penetrating radar, and the radar can detect different densities and can determine if it's going through soil and it's hitting a pipe or whatever. So I asked them if they thought that would be something that could be used here, because it could kind of be a non-destructive method to determine, what was there. And they really didn't think that would be very definitive for the types of material and how thin the membrane is and that kind of thing. But that company does do test boring, and that's what they do. Their master locators, they locate things underground. When I was talking to Wayne, I was a little bit concerned. He was thinking about bringing a loaded tandem up on top and trying to tie his equipment off and trying to get down that slope. And I don't think any of us really want to risk losing Wayne. So this company, I sent them some photos and some drawings of it to let them see how steep it was, and they thought that they would be able to do it for either a day or 2 days. The person I was talking to said that the starting price is $1,600 a day, and his field people thought that it would need extra equipment. It could go as high as $2,000 a day, and it could be done in possibly 1 day, possibly 2. So they would have they're a bigger company, they would have better liability insurance, better to be able to protect the township. And I just think rather than going with a small company, I would feel a lot more comfortable if we went that route. And
Out of curiosity, when they do an exploratory and determine that membrane has not been extended to the head walls all the way, what's that job going to entail to?
well, then my continuation of my story is that then I think you paid somebody to design this, inspect it, and somebody to build it. And the person that you hired to do that work did not do it, and he signed off on paying the contractor for not doing it properly. I think he should be doing the redesigning. His errors and omissions insurance should be paying.
Because I mean,
For the
literally,
construction
just in my
aspect
mind,
of
you're
it.
going to have to re-excavate
It's going to be terrible. It's gonna-
two-thirds of it because you're working on both sides unless you do one side, dig one out, and then fix it, and then dig the other side out and put the fill on that side. You're going to be shuffling fill back and forth almost to the degree of
And
the
the
original
township should not
project.
have to
You
do
have to
that.
pay for it.
Not at all. But then you got, that's Kevin's job then to
Errors
allow
and
them
omissions on the insurance.
on the
Can we then go back
Engineering
for
company.
the work that we are doing now? We can have that paid for by them as well for us proving our point?
I would certainly think so,
Counsel?
Kevin.
Yeah, any costs we incur to remediate any negligent conditions we find out there, yeah. But as I said, we need to certainly nail down any deviations from the plans and then the against the, and honestly, I mean, it's really a pox on two houses, and that, at that point, A, the contractor was supposed to build it pursuant to the plans, and B, our engineer at the time, not Glenn, the engineer specifically for that project was supposed to inspect, and obviously he did not. In fact, I think Glenn, you looked at records. I was looking back at my notes on this, and you were looking back at the engineer's notes, and I think he did like a couple, like 2 drive-bys the entire time the
Well,
project was
actually, just recently, Lorraine had asked me for some
Yeah.
backup information, and when I was going through it, I saw his invoices.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Cherie sent them to me. I didn't
Yeah.
have them before. And I saw he made one site visit. And that must have been at the end after it was all done.
After he-
Because he saw when it was soft on top and that it could settle by having it rained on.
So yes,
I don't think he saw anything that was going, and I did contact the contractor, who is out of business, of course. I asked him for photographs, and he said he looked, but he didn't think they took any, so I don't have anything from him. He at least answered the phone. So, more than what we got from the other person. So I don't think you should be paying us to do any of that. I think they should be doing it. Or somebody else should be doing it, and
How
their
does that work
insurance
if-
paying for it.
Oh, we have to
Work
pay.
if that contractor's out of business, how do we back after his?
I think you go back after the
Yeah,
engineer.
the engineer's insurance. Who was supposed to have approved it.
I mean, I don't know. You file whatever lawsuit you want. I don't know. But I think
Thanks,
that-
Stan.
No more laws.
Don't give Glenn that authority to have.
You prepare what our plans are. Heck with board approval. Oh, yeah, I think what I said last time remains. We have to have the investigation done as soon as, because Gwen needs it for possible engineering preparation. I don't know whether you want to stop her from going forward or not, but as soon as we know that there's a deviation from the plans, I'll put them on notice.
Yeah, I mean, there's the membrane, and in addition to that, they were supposed to put a perforated drainage system in longitudinally, which is a lot more excavation work. And
Will we be able to, what's I was going to ask you, Glenn, will we be able to, just with the excavation on the ends, will we be able to see if the drainage is not?
we're probably going to have to do more on top, which would not be that big a deal because you can access that a lot easier. But I think, my feeling is that I would doubt it, and we were talking about within 5 feet of the ends possibly. Well, there's the concrete extensions. I've never seen them at the end. So it's got to be, I don't know, 10 feet, 15 feet short. I bet they took just the top off a couple feet down and threw something in. I don't know.
But we're going to know that when we have the report. We'll know that.
Did we already approve, to have a dig done?
Yeah, we did.
Did we,
Yeah,
was it named specific? Do we have to change?
No,
No,
it's
it
a
didn't
not to
name
exceed amount.
specifically, but I know, Wayne's name was brought up, and I didn't want to, I didn't think I wasn't thinking of him, but I'm thinking more of not losing him. Like, seeing himself.
appreciate
flying off
that.
of a Tandem, loaded tandem truck just gave me nightmares. That's all I had.
Point, I have two questions. What about that catch basin on Bliss Boulevard? I don't want to see it there.
That's a township.
I know it. We have to fix that. That catch basin, it's been here since last year, so I don't want to see it, the condition that it is in now for this winter. We have to do something with that. And what about guide rails along Still Valley Road?
Well, over the years, I've looked at several different roads at different requests. And I think Creek Road, Musconetcong Street, Shackletown Road, there was an area.
There's, the whole town could use guide rails. All across the Pacific Coast Highway.
That's very true.
I mean, we can't afford to pay for people's irresponsibility of driving too fast on roads without guardrails.
Well, what I was going to say is
They're
I think
not
that would be
Guide rails,
a
all right.
Guide rails.
project
All right.
to go to New Jersey DOT for a grant the next time it comes available. I brought it up several times before about going after it for that. Because I think they would easily improve, safety improvements, and it would be whatever the grant amount is, we do guide rail to fit that.
I mean, it's DOT's water that's making that ditch worse. It's making it, a worse and worse situation along the Valley Road.
I'll dig out this chronology we have of Still Valley Road and how many meetings and site visits and stuff.
Oh, I know, my
Things that-
father.
Name's probably on there.
Right.
I think it's 2 or 3 pages long, a listing of everything that's been done, going back to.
Do you need some type of motion authority to do a grant application, or there's no grant out there right
No, there's no application.
There's no grant, yeah.
But the next time one comes available, I thought that would be a nice one to do. And it was, some of the roads are really, have some pretty steep drop-offs.
now? Some of them, like I believe River Road, because there was that bad accident down there, unfortunately, but I don't even think that's our right of way. So I know some that I think, Glenn, if I recall, it was railroad right of way or something, wasn't it? And we couldn't even put the guardrail in, or didn't meet the guide rail warrants or something down there?
Well, one section didn't meet it.
Yeah, that's right. You went down and looked at that like, immediately after that.
Yeah, we have it.
So what are we gonna do about that catch basin on Bliss Boulevard? That has to be repaired.
Dave, I guess you just don't let the guys know.
I can talk to our guys about it, see if we can do it in-house, Sal. Or you talk to them, Denise, you know where it's at.
I know exactly where it's at.
Why don't you stop in and see
Okay.
Donnie and see what they have to say?
Well,
What all
I
needs
have
to
to
be done
get,
to it, Sal? Does it need to be taken out and redone, or has it settled?
I would
Stick
say
out?
so. I would say so. But,
Actually, a precast inlet, maybe.
Hey, Philly, you know where he's talking about or not? What's involved?
The brick.
Big project then. Something we can handle in-house, you suppose, or not?
oh, wait a minute now, in-house, I have to get mulch. That special mulch for the playgrounds.
What's the
I
mulch
have- I
got to
have
do with
to-
the?
Yeah, so you're,
You're off tangent, Sal. What's the mulch got to do with the catch basin?
Well, I'm thinking about money.
Oh, money, okay.
Money's
that's fine.
always on my
I
brain.
understand.
Money, we don't have any money, and that's why I keep on bringing that up. What if we don't have the money?
I would say the catch basin probably carries more precedence than the mulch.
No, if a child gets hurt in that playground, we're gonna let ourselves wide open for a lawsuit. I've got to get that mulch underneath those swings.
Did they say they needed it for all the parks? Did they come out? Is that how?
I would say the Huntington deal needs the most.
Did someone come out from the insurance company?
Yeah, well, it's a common thing. We have to put it in there.
No, I'm just saying, did the insurance?
Days when you just swung on a swing without anything.
You're not allowed.
No, you can't. You have to have special.
You can't jump
mulch.
off.
Oh, my
Right,
goodness.
you're right, but you have to have a special mulch.
Did someone come out from the insurance company and
I
notify you?
went to an insurance meeting and he told me,
But no one has, no, there's
They
not,
haven't done their inspection shit this year.
thank you. Okay.
When are they scheduled to do them, Wanda?
You never know. They usually come anytime.
Random, whatever.
he should have been here.
I mean, they're not gonna cite us, they're gonna say, correct this problem.
Within so many days.
Right,
Within
yeah,
so
yeah.
many days.
Okay, that's good.
The roof leaks over there in
Huntington?
township garage. There's a lot of things that have to be done. We need new door jambs, new doors, and no money.
Okay, you good, Glenn? Thank you. Frank?
Okay, the Historic Commission met. I gave my report. They asked if we were supportive of the railroad. I said we were supportive of the railroad, but I explained about the opinions I heard about the mining operation of that. And they voted to pass a resolution in support of the railroad. They were, I don't know whether specifically they're going to be supportive of the mining operation part of the railroad or not. They had asked about if we're supportive of Shimer Manor, and I see that the mayor sent a letter supportive of Shimer Manor, as we discussed last time that we would. They need volunteers to mow the Finesville Cemetery. I volunteered for September. I think other people have volunteered. But if you're interested in mowing Finesville Cemetery once, they usually, split it up among people one time a shot.
Do you have to bring your mower?
No, I think Michael Markley's has good equipment. Mower and a weed whacker, I believe. I think Sharon is going in for another shoulder operation.
She is.
Probably this week. But if you send her an email, I bet you she'd appreciate it if anybody is interested in mowing the Finesville Cemetery once. I guess we're still talking with Lopakong about shared services. The mayor and I met with a representative from Lopakong, and I guess we'll talk more about that in the executive session. And Lorraine sent the mayor and I an email with an idea that I thought was interesting. Not exactly the same type of shared service arrangement, but we do have capacity for providing purchasing services, and there's a need for purchasing services among some of our neighboring communities. So I think if we, provide that as a service, we can mitigate our costs for purchasing.
Make them like a co-op type deal or?
Exactly.
Right, only we'd be a vendor, so we would, we instead of trying to share costs and divvy up stuff, we would just put out a flat amount that we thought would cover, would be reasonable to them and would help us reduce our costs.
By volume or whatever.
Right, volume, economics of scale, basically. Did I get that right? Okay. So I guess I'm looking for.
No. okay. Oh, I thought that's what you're talking about, because I was going to say that would increase our bid threshold. Somebody can get.
I'm not a QPA, I'm an RPPS. That's the lowest possible purchasing.
So many acronyms.
So, I mean, I guess I'm looking for concurrence that that's something we should be pursuing, or could be, we should explore. So Lorraine, have at it, I guess.
I mean, that Susan would still work for 1 to 5 and then.
We may have to hire Susan for more hours, but share her among a few municipalities. Correct. Yes. Some. But I think it'd still be cheaper
For them, yeah.
for them and us. I'm more particularly interested in us.
Otherwise, it's not.
Yeah, I'm not,
Us, why would we?
yes, of course. And that's all I had.
Thank you, Frank. Dave?
I have nothing to report since last meeting from the Public Works guys. We had our environmental meeting last night. It was well attended. I believe everybody was in attendance. A lot of discussion about the community garden and how things are going well up there. Is there any spots available yet, Rennie? Is there still room if people want in or not?
We could make room for like 2 more pots, but, pumpkins are gonna be taken off before too long.
Okay, well, either way, things are going well up there. We've gotten some rainfall finally that they don't have to worry about water and everything. There was discussion last night about an initiative that what Lopakon is starting to do with the Lopakon water, I guess you would lack a better term, the Lopakon watershed, and trying to improve quality along the Lopakon watershed. That was discussed. Les had attended a meeting that Lopakon had hosted to do with that. And you said it was quite enlightening, Les, correct? Because there was a lot of good information.
A lot of information presented about stormwater management and also new rules and regulations.
Right. Other than that, there was no other real discussion. It was a fairly short meeting, but I said it was well attended. I was glad to see that. Other than that, the land use board meeting for last week was canceled for, I guess, lack of an agenda. So we're scheduled to meet again, I believe, the week after next. Other than that, Mayor, I have nothing more beyond that to discuss.
Would you say we're kind of on target for the once a month meetings?
I don't want to comment on that.
Yeah. Well, it looks to me you are. I heard that actually I was in the conference room where the agenda and meeting minutes were left, and I saw that you have Sharon had some sort of map about preserved farms that she had available in the township. I was wondering if I can get a copy of that.
I would reach out to Sharon and directly and ask her for that. There was I think there was some corrections that were done to it over the previous one. There were some things that weren't correct on it.
Okay.
I would reach directly out to our secretary.
Okay.
And I said, I don't know what her schedule's going to be like. I know her.
Yeah, I'll wait till she's back.
Her vehicle was supposed to be repaired, and she had to get a shoulder work on, so it might be tough for her anyway.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Mary?
Okay, well, the police department has responded. There, can you hear me? All right, the police department has responded to 532 calls for service, and they did issue 319 traffic summonses, and they made 14 arrests. The criminal investigation unit opened 25 new cases. They did investigate 28 motor vehicle crashes, and the Click It Ticket campaign that was done for 2015, well, during that 2-week campaign, they issued a total of 231 citations for various offenses, and of the 231 citations, 125 were issued for failing to wear a seatbelt. On June 2nd, the department was inspected by the New Jersey Juvenile Justice Commission for compliance with state juvenile policy and procedure. And the inspection was done on site, and our police department was found to be in compliance. I told you, I think, at the last meeting about Sergeant Cozy's DARE graduation that had been held at the Pohatcong School. The 13-week course, students are introduced to the dangers of alcohol, tobacco, and drugs, and that they become aware of the risks associated with drug and alcohol abuse, and they're introduced to critical thinking scenarios that help them develop decision-making skills. On June 9th, representatives from the Domestic Abuse and Sexual Assault Crisis Center of Warren County met with our chief. They're looking for volunteers to train to become part of response teams when a person is subjected to sexual assault or domestic violence. So if anyone is interested in gathering more information, there are flyers over on the table that you can pick up, and it has more information on it if you're interested in volunteering for that. I will need time for during executive session. And
Very
as far
good.
as how many minutes, I don't.
That's not good. All right, thank you, Mary. Sal?
Before I forget, whoever put benches up by the community garden, it looks real nice. Really made the place look classy.
I know
Okay.
one bench. Somebody else put another bench.
Oh, they were donated? We should send them a thank you letter. Okay, I have more good news. Anybody wants couches, they're in a ditch along Still Valley Road. I'll tell you what, I went up there with another gentleman trying to apprehend these garbage dumpers, but I heard they go there at 1:30 at night and destroy everything. Okay, we talked about the housing plan. We're going to have that done. We talked about Susquehanna Railroad, about by Snyder's Farm, right? We're going to look into that further. Okay, some more good news. Somebody knocked the gate down by the 78 bridge. Just drove right straight through it. I figure between $500 and $1,000. We're going to need to repair that now. I don't know what to tell you.
If it's an access road for 78, would that be the state's?
Well, that
No, it's all,
probably was.
Delaware River Joint Toll Bridge.
Bridge Commission property.
Yeah, that's the commission.
no, it's our property, I was told.
Who told you that, Sal?
The road department.
Gwen, could you look into that maybe to see where this,
Jay can tell you.
Well, I don't know where it is. Still,
It's right by,
I spoke to the state, all of the pieces that we spoke about months ago, and it said there was a contract. And then when I spoke to the state, they said, someone from the state said it was a lease at this point, send a letter. So I sent another letter, and they sent a letter back that the township's under contract. I guess my question is where that is all, I guess, I think we're right, including the access road in that field, where they be torn down.
I don't think we acquired any gates or, I would,
Pieces, when you were in here,
Pieces.
they were just small little segments of right of way.
It's under my property.
It wasn't like the cul-de-sac or anything like that.
No, the cul-de-sac
No.
you're talking about too.
They were?
The state owns that cul-de-sac, right, Ken? With the cul-de-sac with that field.
I don't think that's part of that
That deal.
contract that you're talking
I
about.
don't know, I haven't,
What, do you remember when that was? I'll look back at and pull the maps out.
that, when we spoke about it, or when they did it?
It's probably like,
You came into a meeting and questioned what it was
it was
about.
probably like 6 I months ago. have the contract somewhere in my filed. Is that what you're talking about, Glenn, the contract?
Well, with the maps to see what it actually included.
Right.
Is this the cul-de-sac?
Exit 1, I think. What would be exit 1?
No, it's the entrance. You can't miss it. It's laying on the ground.
There's a little piece in front of that property that I own. And then there's a piece across the street that's part of the contiguous of the VAI track that runs up along the road. So far up, I don't know how far up High Street. And then there's a piece, I think the other piece was that access road along with that field. I don't know how much is state on, but I think they were all discussion at the time.
Is it the cul-de-sac off of Carpenter Hill Road?
Yeah,
It's
the
not
one
a
with the gates.
cul-de-sac. It's an entrance, and you could see it laying there.
Right off of High Street on Carpentersville.
Yeah, I didn't really look out. I didn't know if somebody backed up with a truck and had a gate
Chief,
pulled over or-
Chief, would you be able to go out and get pictures of it and then send it to Gwen? Have why?
Yeah, I know somebody went out and they're investigating it, but I don't know if they took pictures, but yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay, and then
There
we
we
have
go.
to find out who it belongs to, because whoever it belongs to would be responsible.
I thought that was private property.
I believe it's the state of New Jersey, and I think that's what the piece that talks about.
We definitely don't own it, first of all.
Okay.
The contract was never consummated. We signed it, it was like,
Probably in 2014.
yeah, it was like a contingent contract that's been sitting around for at least a year, Jay. I know you keep asking me about it,
It's been at least a year.
at least a year, and I keep punting over to Glenn because, to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever even seen the maps as to what little strips of property it covered, but
I have the high.
right now it doesn't matter
The
because it's still
discussion
state
is on
property.
the gate, though, not the pieces of property.
Chief,
So-
where does the
I can
gate
get
lead
it.
to? I mean, what property is behind the gate that the gate?
I don't know who owns it. It's just an access road back there.
It doesn't go anywhere, right?
No, there's like
Dead end?
like four-wheelers and stuff
Yeah,
back
could
there.
have been a four-wheeler that hit
I
it.
thought that was
hit it.
private property back there. But
Is it right past the bridge, Jeff?
yes, it's right next to the
Is there
bridge.
a cul-de-sac bulb on the end of it?
Yes,
I think it's DOT.
yes. That's DOT.
It's either DOT or
So it's not our
joint toll bridge.
No, but
Maps.
they should be notified so that it can be repaired.
Everybody can get the map.
Okay, Sal?
Okay. Who's gonna look at it?
It's gonna be taken care of.
Okay, the septic system at the Finesville Church, let's give them the foot that they need so they can.
That's been done, yeah.
We did that.
Okay. The Bliss Boulevard manhole, we're gonna look at that too, but that's gotta get done.
All right, that's it. Okay.
Okay, we talked about the couches in the ditch.
What condition are they in?
What color, yeah.
Yeah, my son
Oh,
might want
they're
those
full of
cows.
mud.
Keep going.
Okay, guide rails, when we're going to, look at the guide rails, maybe the state would.
The next time.
Next time there's an application.
Applications for local aid.
Okay,
Bench pressing though.
whew. Okay, that's it for now.
Great, thank you, Sal.
Oh, wait, one thing. What about the storm water on the bills? I forgot to bring it up. We have to pay the state a little over $1,000 for a permit, and that's good for a year. I seen it on the bills here. Why do we have to pay this?
I didn't see the bill. I wonder if you're classified.
I don't think we pay for that general permit.
I don't know what.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, they're done.
I saw on your bills there's stormwater work.
Here's
You
one
plan,
from,
you develop a plan.
Treasurer State of New Jersey, stormwater discharge permit, $11 or $1,050.
Right. Why do we have to pay that?
Well, it was on my bill list. It would be in my file.
Who's the payee?
State of New Jersey, according to the bill list.
Sent to the township of Cohasset.
on May the 7th. PO is 419. DEP.
Oh, Gwen, this is the, this is, here, let me show you. I think they're now charging, are they now charging for that general permit? That's what it looks like. General permit. Yeah. I don't ever remember them going for it either, but that must be it. What happens, Sal, is that all the updated stormwater regulations, we have to issue those flyers and all the community bulletins, all those stormwater regs. Well, as part of those regulation updates a few years back, the municipalities were being issued a general permit for all of your stormwater collection. We had to upgrade the outlets and make them different class outlets and stuff. Well, you get a permit for that. But I don't ever remember them charging for it, but it looks like they're now charging for it, I guess.
Did we get them before, do you know?
I don't know how long it's good for. It says renewal.
Really?
What would they do to us if we didn't pay it?
Throw you in jail.
No, it's just a fee to have the permit itself for all your emails.
And do you get a reduced rate when we do all those things, or they're still going to charge the same amount? Maybe something to look forward to, because
You look into that, Gwen, and see
Think
the explanation why we have to have it.
Well, they have a letter right here.
Oh, there's a letter?
DEP is here to help you.
Yeah. Just ask them, that's what they'll tell you.
Maybe we can sue them as an unfunded mandate.
yeah, there you
So what
go.
are we gonna do about that bill?
And I said it's in accordance with
They cite us,
AC 7:14, 3.1.
there's a statute they cite.
Do you want to call them, Sal?
I'll call anybody.
Give him Christie's number.
Yeah, that's what it is. 14 days, definitely. Yeah, that's what it is. I think you should leave it in there. You already approved it anyway.
Keep
But-
paying. Is that what you're saying?
It's the law.
Unless you're going to assume over $1,000, and that's not worth it. It's just.
You get them in your other townships also? Oh, so
You're not going to get one of those.
Yeah, she said last year. I think we got one.
Just started.
So it's a recent. We have a state.
I don't let you discharge the stormwater.
yeah. They plug them all up.
Well, what you'll get a violation notice, and that'll cost more than $1,000.
That would be a lot more than that $1,000. Yeah.
Well, their permit expired a year and a half ago, and last year they hadn't done anything. But this year they did send out forms, and you had to submit something back. So maybe that's when it started.
So do we have to pay it?
Yes.
Yes.
Gotta pay it. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Sal. Real quick, the Economic Development Commission did not meet this past month. I believe it was the day we had a really bad storm, so it was that day that tornado touched down in Pennsylvania. So we erred on the side of safety and did not have the meeting, and I think the chairman is looking to schedule something in July. So we will be meeting then. Also, this past weekend on Saturday, the Phillipsburg Emergency Squad opened up their Alpha satellite station, which is going to primarily serve Powhatan and Alpha. And since they've opened that location, they've gotten 30 new volunteers, which is really impressive because when you look at all the other volunteer organizations, and also, I don't know if everyone received the letter that they sent out for fundraising. I think they raised an extra $10,000 from, I think, Powhatan Alpha residents. So again, that was also really good because Bloomsbury Emergency Squad is no longer in existence. So they're going to be picking up the entire Township, and several of their members actually have joined Phillipsburg too. So it seems like everything is going good there. They're going to definitely have some quicker response times for us. They have we got a tour of the facility. They have barracks in there where people will be able to be staffed 24 hours. They'll have they'll have one ambulance and one van there all the time. So it's really nice to have an emergency squad that's, I mean, right in the middle of Powhatan Township. So it's really nice. And fortunately, we couldn't get them to take the Shimer School, but you know they.
Well, it's the old post office.
Yeah, it's the old post office, and they really did a nice job with it. If you remember what that building looked like, it was very, very dilapidated. Yeah, they have the bays where the trucks used to be, and now they have their vehicles. So it's really a great thing. Another, I don't know if we have not met since we've all been getting the postcards from Byron Widger about the depot that he's been kind of moving on for the past, I think it was 2.5 years. He moved from the old mill to his property, and he had an outdoor church service, which several members who are here were at, and it was really neat to see that he and other volunteers in the community were able to move the structure and rebuild it right on the property. And it was amazing because they had a full church service and a picnic, and right when it ended, it rained. It was like he's got some direct line to somebody, but it was very humid, but still, I mean, he did an excellent job with that, and it's nice to see, you know, the community come together and keep something like that. And it's nice too when you see something concrete like that happen that can translate maybe to the Shimer Manor House too with
Tell them
all
about
volunteers.
how they marked each piece of wood and reconstructed it.
Yeah, I mean they took it apart
And you
and
ate all my hot wings.
Yeah, Sal brought Quaker Steak and Lube wings for everybody. So that was good. And then the only other thing that happened since we were gone that, you know, impacts us in some financial form was the Supreme Court had the ruling on the pension ruling with the governor. It was a ruling that sided with his administration on the stance on the law, but now that's being appealed and going to the U.S. Supreme Court. So we'll see where that goes now as far as what ends up happening there. But you know, every once in a while, the Supreme Court of New Jersey does something good. So that's all I have. If we want to take these resolutions all together.
6 resolutions together, unless somebody wants to pull one out.
I have the liquor ones. Which ones? About the lights.
The Huntington Firehouse, Ruby Tuesdays, and Bourbon Street Liquor.
Bourbon Street, yeah.
What about Hoots?
It's not Hoots.
They're not on that.
Their license is up for tax sale.
Is what?
For tax.
Their license is up for tax sale. It was seized by the Division of Taxation. So they're not renewed. And Quaker Steak and Lube, because they have so many restaurants throughout the state, they didn't get their approvals yet. So
How does that work? They can have, how does that work in New Jersey? You're allowed to have, if you're a corporation, you're allowed to have multiple ones, but an individual can only have some?
yeah.
Okay.
You know, we don't want to lose that license.
No, Wanda actually alerted me on that, and it was a good catch because it went out, and I've kind of facilitated with a couple of developers, like, hey, there's a sheriff's sale. I know you want a liquor license. It's really cheap. So if anybody's got some cash, you could probably flip it for a huge sum. What was it going for, I think?
75.
75. You could easily get 400. I don't know why. No, it can be used anywhere in the township, and we have Route 78. So if you got $75,000 in liquid assets, you can get a liquor license. But I did alert a couple of our developers who had told me, oh, if you only had one more liquor license, we could have that Red Lobster or that Olive Garden. So I did let them know. I don't know what they've done with it, but there's one up there. There's another one in Super Walmart. There's the mall could put up a restaurant with a liquor license. So I made them all aware of it. I don't know, and you're never going to see them that cheap. So
When is the tax sale?
I think it was today.
The taxes?
Tomorrow. Tomorrow's is the second one.
Okay, I was gonna say they did have one already.
I have it.
All right, so those questions answered, then I move that we pass these 6 resolutions.
So moved. I'll second it.
Okay, Becker,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Van Loo,
Yes.
Angeli,
Yes.
Kern.
Yes. Second is this ordinance, just to clarify, because I did have a couple residents call me on it. Some folks were concerned that we were removing this restriction and then we were going to build a bunch of houses on the property. This is going before for a farmland preservation, so we had to restrict or repeal some ordinances that were over restrictive. So that's what this is for, I believe.
Actually, we're repealing the overlay that provided the density, so we're actually taking the density off the property.
Which scared
And
people.
The ordinance was already sent down by the applicants to SADC, and I think it is serving the purpose we did it for. It's advancing their preservation.
I asked the applicant last night, and said everything.
Yeah, I sent a courtesy copy to Bruce
All right,
Jones.
well, I move that we open this ordinance 15-03 to the public hearing.
Could you just say that again, what,
So moved.
This is for Santini.
okay.
It's on the old resident property.
All in favor to open the public comment?
Aye.
Aye. Is there any public comment on ordinance 15-03?
Seeing none, I move that we close public comment and adopt this ordinance.
So moved.
Okay, Becker,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Van Loo,
Yes.
Angeli,
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, okay. The motions, we have to switch.
Should we add first readings of these 2 Kevin additions?
I'm okay with
I am
both of
too.
them.
Yeah, as long as you guys agree, yeah, we have to have, what, a 4 out of 5?
4 out of
If
5.
everybody's comfortable moving on first reading, that's fine.
I don't have problem with it.
You okay with them, Sal? It's your ordinance
Yes.
and the peddler?
I did ask Wanda for numbers just in case.
The what?
Just do it by, yeah, you can just do it by title.
It would be a,
Okay, so you want to do them both by title?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it would be, one is 15-04, and ordinance, it's an ordinance of the Township of Pahacon creating a new chapter, 222.1 of the Code of the Township of Pahacon entitled Maintenance of Vacant Abandoned Properties. Also, I move for first reading 15-05 to amend Chapter 208 entitled Peddling, Soliciting, and Transient Merchants in the Township of Pahacon, Warren County, New Jersey. So I'm moving those 2 for first reading.
Second.
Okay, Becker,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Van Loo,
Yes.
Angeli,
Yes.
Kern.
Yes. Okay. Good catch, Frank. Motions, we got to replace number 4 to enter the joint
Defense agreement.
defense
Right.
agreement.
Mhm. It's still 6 motions then.
I have to abstain from 3. So if we can do the rest, but I have to abstain from
Well,
it.
so do you want to take 5 of them and then do
Yeah,
that one?
let's do
Okay.
the,
Let's do
Are
the
we
5.
tabling the higher rule again? Should we say we're tabling that
we're
one?
replacing it
We're replacing it right now.
with the litigation to join on.
I know, but I have it on here, so we have to do something with it.
Well, that's because we said last time, let's put it on the next.
We'll take this- yeah, can we-
Let's
we'll table it and then
indefinitely table it, just indefinitely
Yeah.
table it, yeah.
All right, so I move that we approve the first 2 motions, and then the last 2 printed motions, and the new motion entering into that joint defense.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay?
Second.
All right, Becker,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Van Loo,
Yes.
Angeli,
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now I move that we approve the motion that stood alone because the mayor has to recuse himself. So that's the proposal from RK Environmental for hazardous communication.
Second.
okay, Becker,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Van Loo,
Yes.
Angeli,
Yes.
and Mayor Kern is abstaining.
Yeah, you got it. Okay, next we have appointments to the Land Use Board. These are the last July appointments we had that get us off the
Finally, now we're on December.
December appointments. These are all class 4 positions.
Now, is this, are we approving you, or are you just announcing, or what?
Just out of curiosity, Mayor, who did Mr. Ortel place to be taken?
Cindy Samanchi.
Right, because Cindy resigned.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's our liaison back to
The school board, yep.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, so those are those. All right, general public comment. Does anyone have any general public comment? See none.
I just have one.
If you could just come up.
Simon, please.
Well, this is really a question for Gwen. I saw that there were a survey crew on Snyder's Road where we had talked about the flooding issues without drains. I just wondered if you had any update from the county on that project.
No. I know they had gone out and looked at it. Their Department of Public Works is concerned about it also. I haven't heard that.
I was encouraged seeing they were shooting graves. But, well, maybe
Down there by Doc Willard's?
No, this is
No,
one down by
right.
Bob Fry's, below Bob Fry's one.
We'll follow up with that, though. I think that just to see where it's at. Yes.
When you Vito, Land Use Board Secretary, I just wanted to ask, I know that you took the thing for Susan Grula. My only concern was not an amount, but she said she cannot go to our subcommittee meetings or anything regarding the housing unless council authorized her to do work on the housing because it comes out of the housing trust. So that's my only concern. Like I know Chairman Williver wanted to have a subcommittee meeting with her there so she could explain to the subcommittee what needed to be done.
She already,
Said she cannot do any housing work.
isn't she already appointed as our,
No,
as
she
our?
said the council, because land use board works on the housing plan, but council's the one who authorizes the work to be done, that she could not even do anything until council approved her.
No, but
That's my only concern, that, you know, not that you approve an amount, but she said that she can't even help like Kevin with the DJ until she's authorized to do housing. So
I
that
have
was
no
my
problem
only-
with,
Just approved this plan, wouldn't you?
I guess
She's our planner, I don't understand why she can't come on to the regular heading.
that was my thought, but listen, I have no problem doing an additional motion, just a motion to appoint Susan Rule as the affordable housing planner.
I think it's because it's a housing trust and not a planner.
oh, you know what though? This is what Lopad got in trouble with the COA money. If you don't,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I can see
But it would-
her point, I guess, up to a point. You don't have to point, do a number amount. And she made that clear to me, that 12,000 was just a ballpark to help us. Wasn't that she was stepping us, but I don't have a problem adding one more motion.
because you have to use the COA money specifically for COA
I don't think
related.
we have any co money.
And I know the last email that she sent, and I think Anthony wanted your email, said, you know, we're going to miss the deadline unless council approves the housing work. Because I know I did check with Lorraine, there's specific, like, a trust that anything for this come out of.
Well, you know what? Why don't we do
We
this?
have trust money?
There's only
That we
one.
use it to
There's only going to be potentially one COA meeting between this subcommittee. So let's not exceed it more than $1,000. Just cap her at that, and that should cover us. That should cover us for the summer. I would feel comfortable with that. Come out of the COA trust fund. I would move that.
Wendy, how many meetings did she feel that she'd have to attend between our subcommittee
She
and?
didn't even say, I just know that the chairman had spoken to the mayor about doing a subcommittee meeting if he wanted Susan to be there. But Susan won't do anything with regarding the housing unless council authorizes it. And I think only have one meeting,
Yeah.
and I don't want you to get canceled or you miss something.
I think we were going to try to meet before the next land use meeting too.
All right. $1,000.
1,000, yeah. I'll move that.
Change that one to,
Yeah, it came back on again.
came back on
Okay.
with the revised amount.
We tabled it for 5 minutes.
Is this new business? All right, I'll second that motion.
You say there's money we can draw out of that we have in the trust fund
Yeah.
available? Say that.
Oh, what purpose? No,
Spending total money.
Oh,
We already
it's
have it.
already called
we already
money.
have it.
Is that from all the developer fees?
That motion was Councilman Becker and Mary seconded it, so Becker,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
and Lou, and Joey.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Wendy. Okay. So do we have a
I
motion,
move we go into executive session.
maybe about 45? Yeah.
Dominic Agesta, Mountain Road, Icon Township. Before we were catching up on the rainfall, we were running into just about a drought pretty good. And at the community garden, things were getting pretty dry. And I just wanted to thank, I spoke to Detective Scott Robb, I spoke to Wanda, and got word to Chief Purcell, and the chief had the fire department come out and fill our water tank, which was a big help until we got some rain. So I wanted to thank everybody about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, again, I'm making that motion, and it's personnel,
Contractual.
contractual, and what else? Anything else?
That's it.
That's it.
Action might be taken, yeah.
Personnel contractual.
You got it.
Who was the second?
Second?
I made the motion.
Okay, so I'm gonna say Becker,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
and Lou,
Yes.
and Joey.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes. All right.
Okay, we're back on, Mayor.
Okay, do I have a motion to return back to public session?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, what's the motion?
We need a motion to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute the interlocal agreement with Greenwich for the shared court, subject to one addition to clarify any additional medical expense for the traffic
Violations clerk.
Violations clerk.
in years 2 and 3 will be picked up by Greenwich.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Becker,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
and Lou,
Yes.
and Joey.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes. Okay, do I have a motion
I
to
move we
adjourn?
adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.